I'm a huge proponent. If anyone's been listening to me lately, especially, there's so many reasons for unexplained weight gain just in the last 3 years, and you touch on them, and I really want to get into them. The glyphosate, the EMFs, the lack of grounding, the artificial lights, the stress, just the lifestyle. It's not about calories in, calories out. So can we dive into these unknown or more hidden causes of fat gain and muscle loss?
Yeah, I love diving into this aspect. Touching on the EMFs. I'm sure if you put a post out there about EMFs, which I have done lots of times, people are quick to hate on you because it's invisible, much like nicotine back in the day. It was accepted, and it's not going to do you any damage. However, we know years later that invisibility actually has caused a lot of complications in the future. But now we know that the iPhone 12 has just been banned in France, and it looks like Belgium and Germany and Spain are quickly going to follow because of the amount of radiation that's putting out. So they pulled all those phones. So we have to be very careful of that, especially with 5G. So what can we do? Yeah, put your phone on airplane mode. Do not have it in the bedroom, and definitely don't have it on charge near you because it will put out more EMFs. But there's things that we can do as well on top of that I always, I'm not sponsored by any companies I'm going to mention, by the way, but I use the Defender Shield phone case and the fanny pack, and I wear these Bahi trainers that are earthing trainers. Of course, I'll get out and take my shoes and socks off whenever I can, because I've actually held an EMF reader with my phone in the other hand, and it goes through the roof. As soon as I take my shoes and socks off or wear these Bahi trainers, now the reading goes down because the EMF isn't just penetrating into me, it's now penetrating through me. So I think it's very important for us to, earth ourselves on a daily basis. And then as far as the glyphosate, the antibiotics, the genetically modified foods, however you want to put it, for sure, there's definitely a correlation there with weight gain as well. I just had a friend of mine who lives in India, but she's from Italy. She just went back to Italy for 2 months during the monsoon season. She said she lost 12 kilos while she was there, following the same diet as what she follows in India. It's just a different source of the food, such as, she was eating plenty of the pasta, the spaghettis, the Italian favorites, but she lost a lot of weight. And my wife's family are all Romanian, and my wife is. And some of her Romanian relatives, apparently, as soon as they come over here, they put on a lot of weight. As soon as they go back to Romania, they take it all back off. So, the source is definitely something to consider. And like I said, try to go wild caught, organic, humane raised, grass fed, etc., whenever possible. But our environment is very much different to what it was with, people staying up later. It's not uncommon for someone to call me at like 9 o'clock at night and say, hey, do you want to go out for a coffee? It's absurd. I personally go to bed at like 7:30 at night. However, we have this artificial light, whether it be from the light bulbs, our phone, the TV, computer screen, etc., that is now keeping us entertained and later. So the longer our cortisol level is up during the evening hours, when it should be low and we should be releasing melatonin and our oxytocin, serotonin, etc. Now we've got this cortisol spike. So we're becoming more insulin resistant, and we're not as metabolically active or insulin sensitive because of it. So there's so many of these environmental factors. When I take on a client or speak to a friend and they talk to me about training and nutrition, the first thing I ask is, what time do you go to bed? How much sleep do you get? What is the quality of your sleep? Do you track it? Because I think it's so important. We know that we can live so long without food. We can live so long without fluid. And, we don't live long without sleep.
So when I was in college, I went to Stanford. So obviously I was surrounded by very smart people. And we did in a psychology class a study on sleep. And they took 5 individuals who are brilliant, right? Straight A students, deprived them of sleep for 48 hours. And we, as a class, got to watch them and just laugh at them because their mental awareness, their function just after 24 hours was as if they were a kindergartner. I mean, they could not form sentences. They could not do anything. And they also had a very hard time just keeping awake, but they had to stay awake for this experiment. But it was amazing to see the damage to your daily life activities and quality of life just by that lack of sleep. And for any moms out there, know if you're getting up in the middle of the night and breastfeeding your child, and how you literally become depressed, anxious, you're short tempered, you can't function, you just from being interrupted in the middle of the night. It is the number one thing. So when you are trying to take supplements and trying to eat right, but you don't have your sleep dialed in, the other stuff doesn't work. And sleep is that cornerstone. And I totally agree with you. And the EMFs is a difficult thing to get across to people because it's invincible. You can't see it, right? It's invisible. So people don't understand it. They also don't want to get rid of it because this is their life. And I'm guilty. It's right here. And you've got the kids needing it, and it's a cause of anxiety and depression. But it's not just a cause of anxiety and depression because you're seeing things on Instagram that you want to be a part of. It's causing brain issues because it's scrambling your brain. The EMFs are scrambling your brain. And so what is it doing to your fat cells? Well, your fat cells are saying, okay, I'm in survival mode because I'm under threat. So I need to store more body fat to protect myself from being eaten by the tiger or eaten by the iPhone. And your body goes into that survival mode. And same with the artificial lights, same with the glyphosate, same with all of these other threats. And then you've got the addition of the spike protein and what it is doing to the body and causing the liver to actually have this more propensity to gain fat as well. So this is a huge issue. It's not just about calories in, calories out. It's not just about eating chicken and broccoli. Our broccoli isn't the same as it was 50 years ago, and the chicken's not the same as it was 50 years ago. So the food we're taking in isn't even what we grew up with. And just to emphasize what you said about eating food in different countries, I have a friend who came from the Ukraine. Now, she's in war, right? Obviously, a lot of stress in Ukraine, comes to the United States, no war, doesn't need to go into her basement 5 times a night with the sirens going like she did in the Ukraine. But the food supply is adulterated here. She gains weight. So she is not obsessed with food. She's not obsessed with body image. She comes here, she eats the way she was eating back there, but the food there, even though they're in war, they grow their own food. It doesn't have the glyphosate and it doesn't have all of these other things. So just another example of the sourcing of food.